In the quiet suburbs of a small American town, Emily Carter never imagined that a simple move to a new house would bring so much mystery into her peaceful routine. Freshly arrived, she was searching for a slower pace, leaving behind the rush of Boston and exchanging her job as a librarian for the gentle calm of a leafy neighborhood where towering old trees framed the sidewalks. From outside, the house seemed perfect, charming, with wide windows and a neatly kept garden by the door. But what Emily didn't know was that the real secret of that home was buried just meters beneath her feet, in an old basement that breathed both history and something else, something she could not yet name. From the very first day, the basement's presence gave Emily a subtle sense of unease. Amid stacks of boxes and dust-covered furniture, it felt as if time had stopped down there. The stained walls seemed to trap the laughter and voices of generations long gone. At night, when the world outside fell silent, she swore she heard muffled noises drifting up the staircase from below, as if someone or something was quietly trying to call her. Emily did her best to rationalize every creak, blaming the ancient pipes or the relentless winter wind, but an itch of doubt lingered at the back of her mind. As the days passed, those sounds grew more defined. Whispers began filling the empty spaces of the house, ghostly words leaking up through the floorboards into Emily's bedroom. Her fear gradually shifted to curiosity, drawn by the mystery of the basement that began to haunt not just the lower floor, but also the forefront of her thoughts. Compelled by a strange mix of anxiety and bravery, Emily realized she could no longer ignore the persistent voice beneath her feet. She was about to begin an investigation that would forever change her connection to that house and to her own inner boundaries. Emily Carter was determined to embrace her new routine. Each morning, she brewed a strong cup of coffee, threw open the living room windows, and let sunlight flood the space. The house, built in the 1950s, exuded warmth, but a subtle chill crept along the hall whenever she approached the basement door. It was as though an invisible current of cold air seeped under the cracks, wrapping around her ankles and reminding her this place was unlike any other part of her home. Curious, Emily tried to put the notion aside, but her thoughts always wandered back to what might be lurking behind that door, locked for so many years. Her first nights were calm as she settled in, rearranging the few pieces of furniture she brought along and adjusting to the familiar creaks of an old house. But one night, while lying in bed, Emily heard a faint scraping sound coming from the basement. It was soft, almost unnoticeable, like someone or something was moving boxes below the floorboards. Her heart raced, and though she tried to chalk it up to rats, wind, or plumbing, the strange discomfort gnawed at her. She dove into stacks of books as a distraction, willing herself not to surrender to the growing sense of unease. During the day, Emily discreetly asked her neighbors about the house's previous owners. The responses were guarded: averted eyes, clipped answers, and a wry smile from Mrs. Harper, the oldest resident on the street. "Never saw much reason to go down in that cellar, dear. Sometimes it's better not to know what's hiding down there." Instead of comfort, the words fanned Emily's curiosity further. Despite her anxiety, she felt a peculiar connection to the space, as if the basement was waiting just for her, biding its time until she gathered the nerve to turn the key. The next morning, while heading downstairs to sort out the laundry, Emily noticed something odd. The basement doorknob looked recently touched, even though she'd left everything tidy the night before. The door, which usually groaned when closing, was perfectly aligned, as if someone had quietly oiled the hinges. Two small, dusty footprints marked the cement floor, leading directly to the locked door. Emily caught her breath for a split second, realizing that ignoring the strange presence below would no longer be an option. Something within insisted her investigation was only just beginning. The subsequent nights seemed even longer for Emily. As the city fell silent, the noises from the basement grew more persistent, a distant echo of whispers drifting through the old walls. Emily tried to convince herself it was all due to the house settling with age, but there was something uncomfortably human in the cadence of those murmurs. One especially cold night, she awoke with a jolt, certain she'd heard her own name being called from below. The sensation of being watched clung to her, but beneath the fear, Emily found herself flooded with compassion for whatever was reaching out. The sounds were tinged with sadness, like a silent plea for help. At breakfast the next morning, Emily discovered a strange object on her kitchen table, a rusty old ring she had never seen before. She picked it up carefully, wondering if it had been forgotten by a mover, but the answer felt impossible. The ring was tiny, made for a child's finger, with a nearly worn inscription inside. Emily tucked the mysterious trinket into a small box, her curiosity deepening. Later, after searching through the basement's cabinets, she uncovered an old box of photographs, hidden under a dusty cloth. Smiling children, gathered families, celebrations from another era. That afternoon, Emily noticed her electronics acting up every time she drew near the basement. The radio would suddenly buzz, her phone would lose service, and even her flashlight flickered inexplicably. These phenomena defied logic and left the rational side of Emily deeply unsettled. She'd thrived on mysteries in fiction as a librarian, but now felt challenged to unravel a puzzle that extended well beyond the ordinary. With each day and each clue, Emily's resolve grew even as her apprehension mounted. One evening, on impulse, Emily decided it was time to truly confront what was happening. Armed with a flashlight and a notepad, she braced herself for a direct encounter with the voices. She sat down atop a pile of old boxes in the basement and spoke aloud. "If someone is here, can you give me a sign?" The initial silence was soon broken by a faint, childlike sob from behind a stack of furniture. The sound was so hauntingly real that for the first time, Emily felt pity surpass fear, sensing that maybe all those voices ever wanted was someone willing to listen. After that unsettling night, Emily realized that fear no longer froze her as it once did. She began diligently researching the house's previous occupants, poring over public records and engaging in conversations with neighbors more willing to talk. She discovered that many decades ago, a large family called the house home, but a tragedy had left its mark. According to local rumors, one of the children had disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and since then, everyone who lived there reported strange events tied to the basement. These revelations helped Emily understand that her experience was not unique. Scores of other residents had felt the same unease, but kept quiet in the face of the inexplicable. With her neighbor Laura, a kind older woman always ready to help, Emily finally decided to face the basement one Friday evening. The two brought candles, wanting light, even if the electricity failed. As they descended, the air grew thicker, shadows leaping across the walls, and the biting cold challenged their courage with every step. In the basement's center, while lighting a candle near the back wall, Emily noticed a slightly loose wooden panel, barely visible to the untrained eye. Guided by instinct, she pried the panel open, revealing a tiny, rusted music box. When Emily wound the music box, its old, sorrowful melody filled the basement. The moment the tune drifted through the air, the voices haunting the space seemed to hush. Time paused, and a heavy weight lifted. An icy chill swept over Emily and Laura, but it quickly faded, replaced by an unexpected peace. It was as if some presence from the other side had finally been heard. Tears stinging her eyes, Emily whispered words of comfort and compassion to whatever lingered there, offering the attentive ear the voices had longed for. In the days that followed, the house's atmosphere transformed completely. Emily slept more soundly, the strange noises disappeared, and even the neighbors noticed a newfound sense of lightness around her home. Electronic devices worked again, and the basement, once oppressive, felt like just another old room, humming with tranquility. Emily felt proud of her bravery, but more than anything, she realized that the basement's secret would never truly be forgotten. The past had finally been honored, with fear replaced by understanding and respect for the unknown. As the weeks went by, Emily noticed her relationship with the house had transformed completely. The basement, once carefully avoided, became a place for reflection and learning. She decided to reorganize the space, clearing out the old furniture and storing every object she found with care and respect. The child's ring and the music box took their place on a special shelf above the fireplace, serving as gentle reminders of the voices that had sought attention for so long. Emily also left an anonymous letter for future residents, discreetly sharing her discoveries and encouraging them to treat the basement with empathy. The tale of the basement and its mysterious voices began to circulate quietly among the neighbors. Many admitted they had never entirely understood the strange occurrences in the house, but since Emily faced its past, the entire neighborhood seemed lighter and more cheerful. Children once again played in the yard yard without fear, and even Mrs. Harper resumed her evening strolls, saying she felt safer and more at peace. The effect of Emily's courage spread beyond the house, inspiring others to confront their own basements, the secrets, pain, and unresolved mysteries of their past. In quiet moments, Emily still sensed a friendly presence, as if the child gone so many decades ago wished to express gratitude. During those occasions, she remembered her own fears and the difficulty she'd faced in confronting what unsettled her. Fear, she realized, is always part of the human experience, but how we face it defines who we become. For Emily, the basement became a symbol of reconciliation, a place where the unchangeable past could be honored and the unknown transformed into hope and renewal. At the end of her journey, Emily felt deeply connected to both her house and her community. The mystery hadn't erased all her fears, but it had taught her to treasure every detail of life, including those that cause discomfort or frighten us. Deep down, she knew we all carry our own basements, spaces where untold stories rest. Emily's legacy was a silent invitation for everyone, in their own time, to listen to the voices of their past, and by doing so, finally find peace. Emily Carter could never have guessed that answering the voices from her basement would transform not only her own life, but the lives of those around her. The experience became a gentle reminder that true courage often begins with listening and opening oneself to the unknown. She discovered that ghosts, no matter how frightening, are sometimes nothing more than echoes of pain and hope from a forgotten past. By facing her fears, Emily allowed her home to breathe freely once more, turning old anxieties into understanding and compassion. Every morning, as sunlight touched the ring and music box on her mantel, Emily felt a newfound lightness in her heart, knowing she had served an essential purpose. She listened, welcomed, and gave voice to what had been silent for so long. Her journey reminded the community that real strength is found not by ignoring shadows, but by gently illuminating them through empathy and kindness. The house, once weighed down by old secrets, now radiated the calming silence that comes from truly belonging. Thus, Emily's story continues to ripple through neighborhood streets, inspiring others to bravely face both the mysteries around and within them. The voices from the basement are now memories of overcoming, wisdom, and tenderness, preserved in the collective memory of all willing to listen to what we so often wish to forget. Ultimately, the message lingers. Opening locked doors may be difficult, but only then can the light fully enter and begin to heal even the oldest wounds.